Former President Trump getting a chance to make his case today ahead of his sentencing next month. He is meeting by video with probation officials who will help the judge decide on a punishment. The former president, convicted on 34 counts of falsifying business records, he could get prison time, he could get a fine. He says he did nothing wrong and plans to appeal this verdict. And also, keeping on the former President Trump topic, a gathering in another blue state raked in $12 million at a fundraiser over the weekend in San Francisco, just weeks after he held an event in the Bronx here in New York City. The former president says he thinks he has a very good chance to be the first Republican to win New York State since Ronald Reagan. Let's bring in Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Whatley. Michael, good to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us today.
It's great to be on with you today.
So, it's interesting. A lot of these big tech investors have been kind of holding back. But in the words of one of them, he said that he sees more and more support for former President Trump coming from that area. He says the dam is breaking, and they raked in $12 million over the weekend. What is causing that? Why is that changing?
I think you're seeing the impact of Joe Biden's relentless war on American businesses. We're seeing it obviously in the tech sector here, but we're seeing it also in other businesses and other events. And we saw it down in Florida, where we had a major dinner at John Paulson's house and raised $50 million. We're seeing it in New York, where business leaders are coming out of the woodwork to support him because they understand that the business environment is so much more important, and that under President Trump, they had a good business environment. We saw the economy explode under his watch. Those 4 years was better for American businesses, which was also better for the jobs that were created because the businesses are the job creators. The other thing that we're seeing is that he is going into places like San Francisco and having very, very positive events. We were in Orange County, we were in Los Angeles over the weekend and had very great events down there as well. You talk about the Bronx event. You talk about going into New Jersey and having a rally with over 100,000 people.
Yeah.
President Trump is playing offense. And he's playing offense in places like New York, New Jersey, and California, while President Biden is having to go back to talk to his base and try and gin up a campaign to shore up his support among black voters. He's losing in all of the battleground states, and we're just really seeing the impact of 4 years under President Trump compared to 4 years under Joe Biden.
I'm curious how you deal with the organization part of that, because it is really stunning that he's not spending all of his time in the swing states. He's going, as you said, to New Jersey, to New York, and to California. Now, we all, you go where the money is, and that's New York and California for the most part. But I find it really interesting that a lot of these big tech leaders are starting to turn their attention his way. But in those areas, the Democratic organization arms are very well oiled. They know how to get the vote out in those areas. If you're serious, and he's serious about maybe winning one of these places, how are you going to do that? What's your organization going to look like? And what have you already done? What do you have to do?
Look, we're going to be living in our battleground states, and we saw, the president did events in Arizona and Nevada over the course of this last West Coast swing. But we are going to go play offense. And I think that the other thing that you got to think about with President Trump is he has the ability to directly communicate with the voters, whether it's with a press conference at a bodega, whether it's going to a construction site in New York City at 6:30 in the morning while President Biden was still in bed. Things like that. The rally, obviously, in New Jersey got everybody's attention with 100,000 people.
Now, are you converting all those people? I'm sorry to jump in, but I'm almost out of time. When people go to this rally in New Jersey, for example, what are you doing to organize all those people who showed up? Because, I'm going back to the game question and the ground game question, and I'm not really getting a specific answer. So I think people are curious about this.
The ground game is absolutely building out exactly like we had mapped it out, exactly like we planned. And at every one of these rallies, every single person is registering online to come to the rally. We are getting that information, and we are going right back out to them to make sure that they're registered to vote and to make sure that they have a plan on whether they're going to vote early, they're going to vote by mail, or they're going to vote on Election Day. And then we follow up to make sure that we get that vote in.
Do you think there's going to be a vice presidential announcement by President Trump, the nominee, before the convention, or do you think he wants to do it at the convention? What's the thinking on that?
You know, the decision is going to be made by the president on the president's time. I feel very comfortable telling you it'll happen sometime between today and July 15th when we kick off the convention.
Well, I could have told you that before you came on. All right, Michael Whatley, thank you very much. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Martha.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.